それで、具体的にはどうするつもりなの？
まず、最初に言っておくが、俺たちが最終的に目指すのは、第三次世界大戦の起こらない未来だ。
Just like I told myself a second ago, I didn't expect to get to the world line we wanted, the Steins world line, immediately. Just like I had to build up to the Meta world line little by little, I have to go through many past and many futures. And to do that, I first had to write this world line's future. This world had lost Kurisu, and the price for that was dire indeed. But I wouldn't let the future that awaited us be so full of suffering and pain. I wouldn't let it happen. Everything had to begin with that. Even if the future before us would end up never having happened at all. That was my responsibility, since I had chosen this world.
このベータ世界線においても、俺が何度か世界線の変動を経験してきたことは説明したな。まずはその原因を取り除かなければならない。
原因って何なのにゃ？
マキセ・クリスのノート PC とハードディスク、そしてアマデウスに残るクリスの記憶。
The time machine paper contained on the hard drive, and all of her memories relating to it. All of those worldline changes. It was safe to assume that they'd been caused by Stratfo and others fighting over them.
故に、クリスのノート PC とハードディスクの破棄、並びにクリスの記憶のデータを消去すること。これが今回のオペレーションの最終目的となる。
クリスのデータを消去？そんな本気なの？
I knew Maho would not be in for this idea.
ああ。
でも、あの記憶はクリスが生きていた証なのよ。あの子がこの世界で私たちと同じ時間を過ごしたっていう証拠なのよ。私は消去なんてしてほしくない。
I knew how she felt. Until a few days ago, I would have agreed.
だったら、君はクリスの記憶が悪用されてもいいというのか？
それは。
俺たちのいるこの世界線に至るまでのいくつかの過去において、あいつの記憶は争いの種になってきた。それに多くの人間が巻き込まれている。そこにいるカガリだってそうだ。
What happened to Kagari in the past several years that probably hadn't changed in this world line. Which meant that was just another tragedy caused by the Pandora's box that was Kurisu's memories. What is the Pandora's box? Pandora's box. A box given to mankind by the gods in Greek mythology. I almost said myth mythology. Greek mythology. We were told never to open it, but a girl named Pandora let her curiosity get the best of her and opened it anyway. The box was filled with disasters, all of which were unleashed upon the world. It said that the one thing that remained in the box was hope. That's Pandora's box.
それに俺は一度データの中の世界を経験して知った。あの世界の冷たさをな。
That's right. I knew. I knew how cold that world was. It was a world inside a tiny box, with no past, present, or future.
それほどまでに暗く冷たい世界にずっとクリスを閉じ込めておいて、君は平気なのか？ それにあいつが生きていたという証は俺たち自身のここにある。
I put my finger to my head. Oh my god. She will always remain living in our hearts. Is that what we're going for? But instead of our hearts, Okume means our minds.
俺たちが覚えていること、そしてその上で第三次世界大戦の起きない平穏な世界へと導くこと、それこそがあいつが生きていた証拠になるんじゃないのか。
Maho fell silent as the whole group turned toward her.
陳腐なセリフね。それこそクリスが聞いていたら笑われるわよ。
だろうな。
だけど陳腐だと思えることにほど真実はあるのかもしれないわね。
Maho's dark frown became a smile.
あなたに従うわ。
ありがとう。ダル、クリスの PC とハードディスクはお前が持っているんだよな。
うん、マホタンから預かって簡単には見つからんところに隠してる。
それはアマデウスの件が終わったらすぐに破棄してくれ。
本当にいいん？
He looked back at Maho, and this time, she nodded.
ええ。でもそれは私にやらせて。
OK。
The problem now was Amadeus.
マホ、アマデウスのあるサーバーにアクセスできるか？
ええ、できるはずよ。橋田さん、ちょっと PC を貸してもらえる？
え？あ、ちょい待ち。
Daru motioned for her to stop with one hand, then started typing something into the keyboard.
何をしてるんだにゃ？ダルにゃん。
一応 IP がバレないよう厳重に細工を。OK、どうぞ。
What is an IP? Officially, Internet Protocol. However, the term IP is often mistakenly used to describe an IP address. An IP address is essentially an ID number given to a computer to allow it to exchange information via the internet or a LAN. The Internet Protocol is the methods and standards used to exchange that information. And that is an IP. Maho took over from Daru at the computer.
え？おかしいわ。アクセスできない。
どういうことだ？
パスワードが間違ってるってことは？
そんなミスするわけないでしょ。今まで何度も入力してきたんだから。
Maho tried the password a few more times, but she still couldn't access the server.
私のアクセス権限自体が停止されちゃってるみたい。どういうことなのこれ。ちょっと教授に電話してみる。
Maho took out her phone and called Dr. Leskinen. She put the phone next to her ear for a moment, then frowned and put it down.
ダメ。繋がらない。
She tried calling Dr. Reyes too, but that didn't work either.
もう、どうなってるのよこれ。
やはりそう簡単にはいかないか。
If Maho's access rights had been taken away, that must have meant someone was about to do something.
別のアプローチ方法を探ってみよう。ビクトル・コンドリア大学のサーバーにハッキングできるか？
OK、ちょっとやってみる。
簡単に言ってるけど、うちの研究所のセキュリティ結構厳しいわよ。
Oh my god. Oh my god. Viktor CA. Oh my god. University USA. Oh my god. Honestly, I think the funniest part is just the whole, letters of Viktor Chondria being written on the top there. I just find that to be very funny.
大丈夫だ。なんたってダルはスーパーハッカーだからな。
それを言うならスーパーハッカーな。
He had broken CERN security in just 20 hours. I had absolute faith in him. Daru and Maho were staring at the screen and discussing something. He was probably asking her for details to make his hacking more efficient. I needed to do what I could while I waited. I went back into the development room and opened up a box that had just arrived that day. Mary looked over my shoulder into the box. Haha, you know it.
唐揚げは解凍しないからな。
残念。みんながお腹空いたらジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンを振る舞ってあげようと思ったのに。
Poor Mary. First, I needed to reconstruct the phone wave. After that, I'd have Maho help me make the time machine. On my way back from the future, I'd memorized every bit of how it worked, so it didn't take very long.
橋田さん、あなたすごいわ。
Did he just get in? It was about 30 minutes later when I heard Maho's odd voice.
やったのか？
僕にかかればこれくらい朝飯前だぜ。
I want a hacker friend. You know what? I do want a hacker friend at some point. I just really think having a hacker friend would be useful. Not gonna say why, but maybe I should stop talking right here.
スーパーハッカーの名は伊達じゃないな。じゃあ早速、アマデウスのデータを探してくれ。
待って、今開いて。
I swallowed and looked at the screen as I listened to the mouse click.
ない。アマデウスも、クリスの記憶データも、あったはずのフォルダからなくなってるわ。
すでに持ち出されたということか。待てよ。
I unlocked my phone and called up the home screen. Amadeus' icon was still there.
なあ、このアプリからアマデウスにアクセスできると思うか？
Maho looked over at my phone.
どうかしら。アマデウスのデータそのものがサーバーに残ってないなら、さすがに無理なんじゃ。
Hold on, pause. Wait, let me pause for a second. In the previous world line, Okabe did not have Amadeus, but now this timeline he has Amadeus now? How does that work? Wait, what the heck? So we're into a timeline where Okabe was a part of the Amadeus program again? Okay, I guess that's plot convenient.
試してみて。どうしたの？
いざ繋がった時のことを考えるとな。慎重にいかないと。
そうね。誰かに見られているかもしれない。
ん？
どうしたダル？
ここ、さらに鍵がかけられてるフォルダがある。
どれ
？Trashes.f7tsd applications, library, system, memory, dev, etc. boot, mint, int, log. And the one with the lock on it is memory. Maho leaned forward and stared at the monitor.
変ね。こんなフォルダ、今までなかったわ。
かなり厳重なセキュリティがかかってるっぽい。 さっきのとは比にならんくらい。
アマデウスはそっちに移されたのかしら。でも一体誰が。そんな権限を持っているのはレスキネン教授ぐらいよ。
レスキネン教授には裏の顔があったか、あるいは教授の身に何かあったか。
Oh! Oh! Interesting. Interesting. Neither possibility was appealing.
ダル、そのフォルダは一旦保留だ。次はストラト4のサーバーにハックを仕掛けてくれ。
え、ストラト4ってなんでストラト 4？
おそらく今回の騒動の一端を担っているはずだ。以前ハックしたことがあるから簡単だろう。
つかオカリン、なんでそんなことまで知ってんの？エスパーかよ。
Yes and no? Does reading Stouter count as psychic?
俺を誰だと思っている。狂気のマッドサイエンティストは全てお見通しだ。
Haha. Give me a sec, he said, as he typed something else into the computer.
ストラト4のサーバーはと。
Alright. Let's read their files. Vent TSD, can't read the full name of that folder, but I can read the rest. Old section Brain D, Brain E, Duplica, Synop, Vine. What's that supposed to say? What's that Word document supposed to be? Fushk. Cell 2, Cyber D, Brain M, Looks F, Memory 2, Off 4, Mental C, Material, Heart Raw, What's Memory. I think my favorite folder is Fushk. Fushk. I could tell he'd done it once before. This time, he got through a lot faster than it took him to break into the university.
そのアマデウスっつうシステムのデータを探せばいいんだよね。
ちょっと待って。
Maho leaned her tiny body forward again, and took the mouse from Daru. She clicked on an icon. Alright, let's try reading this. CH controls short-term memory. The brain receives information sent from the neuron by copy storage. Support and strengthen the signal in the hippocampus if it is possible to input and output signals, and via the hippocampal replace with function of hippocampus, it's called. G is put to practical use to lose damage and stores. Help the patient by downloading the save stuff. Alzheimer's disease. The screen filled with some kind of text.
これレポートだわ。
She opened several more files, but since they were written in English, we couldn't read them.
これは
一体何のレポートなんだ。
実験よ。ストラト4が行っていた人体実験。
人体実験。
どうやらストラト4は記憶の移植実験を行っていたみたいね。
Working on human experimentation? I feel like I'm getting a sense of deja vu right now.
誰かの記憶データを別人に移し定着させる実験をいくつも行っているわ。
Memory transplant experiments. That was...
最初こそ動物を使っていたようだけど、最終的には 生身の人間で行われてる。
That explains the dead monkeys earlier in the game. They're experimenting with animals, but then they threw out the animals, and then they started using live humans. Oh, okay, that explains the monkey news report that we saw in one of the earlier parts of this game. Interesting.
被験者には身寄りのない人を利用したみたい。大人から子供まで人種も様々。
She looked down at the report again.
どうした？まだ何かあるのか？
どうやら彼ら記憶移植に関する新しい実験に着手しようとしてるみたい。
It was safe to assume the experiments had something to do with the time machine. They were trying to force open the black box of Kurisu's memories in order to gain information about the time machine. Even if they couldn't get the password for the laptop from Amadeus, if they could access her memories directly, it would give them everything they needed. It was just like what had been done to Kagari in the last world line, but on a more advanced level.
とにかく今はクリスの記憶データを探すのが先決だ。ダル、データはありそうか？
He took the mouse back from Maho and sighed.
いや、ないね。それらしいもんは見当たらない。
What was going on? Hadn't Stratfo stolen the Amadeus data from Viktor Chondria?
一番怪しいのはやっぱ大学のサーバーじゃね？あのプロテクトがかかってたとこ。
Which meant that they were working without stealing the data? Did they hack it like we did? Or...
どうする？
魔法を信じよう。ダル、侵入できるか？
できるけど、これはちょっと骨が折れると思われ。
どれくらいかかりそうだ？
わからんけど、下手したらまるっと半日以上はかかるかも。
If Daru said so, it must have been really heavily protected.
しかも途中でハッキングかけてるのがバレたら全部おじゃん。
We need to hack in to get rid of Kurisu's memory data. And until Daru finished, we needed to keep Stratfo distracted. The problem was, how?
アマデウスと通信している最中はこっちの位置情報はどうなるんだ？
全部把握されるわ。当然アマデウスのプログラムを持っている連中にもね。
I thought so.
問題はアマデウスにつながるかどうか。
First, I needed to see if the app even worked anymore. If it did, I had an idea.
魔法、一つ無茶な頼みをしていいか
？A full day had passed since the operation began. Daru still hadn't managed to break the lock on that folder. Thankfully, they hadn't detected him yet, but that didn't mean we were safe. While Daru did his work, I finished my own, and then handed the rest off to Maho. My actions might have changed the future already, but we still had to do our jobs. Suza had her arms crossed, expression stern. She had been that way for a while. At a glance, she looked calm, but I could see her tapping her arm with her index finger.
おじさん、私たちにできることはないの？
We were finally ready to stop the Third World War. It had to bother her that there was nothing she could do. It had to be stopped as soon as possible, but all she could do now was wait. She was frustrated and on edge. But that was true of everyone else.
もう少しだ。ダルもマホも頑張ってくれている。
Once Maho completed what I'd asked for, there would be something we could do, too.
フェイリス、甘いものとか買ってくるにゃ。疲れた時には甘いものが一番にゃ。
あ、それじゃあ僕も。
Just as the two of them stood up, the element room's curtain opened. Oh? Maho flinched a little as everyone stared at her, but then she quickly smiled. She thought better of it and tried to look more serious.
まったく大変なことをいっぺんに頼まないでよね。
すまん。それで終わったのか？
言われたことは一応ね。
The microwave in the back was connected to a different headset than the one I'd seen last year. It was the same one she'd used to take my memories. That's why she'd been able to finish it and finish this in such a short time. I'm going to repeat that line. That's why she'd been able to finish this in such a short time. A time leap machine. So it was done then. Now, even if I had the time leap from the future, I could go back to 48 hours from now.
それからこっちも。
She offered me a pair of smartphones. These gadgets would be our secret weapons in the upcoming battle. I had Maho make them too. They used a simple AI to create a pseudo-response algorithm that would deceive our opponents. Oh, I see. Oh. I think they kind of mentioned this in the anime, but I'm gonna let this play out a little bit more, but I think they did something similar in the anime in 2025 when they were trying to... I'm not gonna explain what happened there, actually. That's a spoiler. Watch the Steins Gate Zero anime. Watch the Steins Gate Zero anime. It's really good.
さすがだな。こんな短時間に AI を作るなんて。
自分で頼んでおいてよく言うわ。
Her face looked exhausted.
アマデウスで使っている音声ソフトがあったから、流用して開発期間を短縮したの。それにこれは AI なんて大層な代物じゃない。こんなものでごまかせるのかしら。相手はクリスなのよ。
少しの時間だけでも騙せればそれでいいんだ。ダルのハッキングから連中の目をそらせればそれでいい。
The goal was just to keep Stratfo confused. We didn't need to hold a long conversation. We just hook it up for a short time and end the call shortly afterward. It was time to get started. But first... Oh! Mocha's doing something for us? Just do it like we discussed. I hit the send button on a message I'd already typed to QQ Mocha. Once it was done, I turned toward the group.
では、作戦の概要を説明する。
Suza, Mayuri, Ferris, Lukako. I offered them phones that I had just been given by Maho.
4人には2人1組になってもらう。そうしたらこのスマホを持って都内を動き回ってくれ。ペア同士はできるだけ離れた方がいいな。片方の組は中央線沿線、もう片方は山手線沿線ということにしよう。お互いに連絡を取り合いつつ、スマホにインストールされているアマデウスというアプリを立ち上げてくれ。
While Daru was doing his hacking, I left Akihabara and tried to contact Amadeus from Tokyo Station. And it had worked. Kurisu had responded. I'd cut it off instantly, but I was sure of it. The app was still working. And this plan was going to use it.
立ち上げてどうするの？
アマデウスはマキセ・クリスという人物の記憶をもとに作られた人工知能だ。俺たちは今からそいつを騙す。
That's right. Our goal was to deceive Kurisu. When we contacted Amadeus, the enemy would know where we were. My plan was to take advantage of that fact.
アマデウスを立ち上げると同時にもう一つのプログラムが起動する。
もう一つのプログラムってなんだにゃ？
そこの S ってマークのあるアイコンをタップしてみてもらえる？
これかにゃ。
Ferris tapped her phone.
もしもし、俺だ。
オカリンの声だ。
話しかけてみてくれ。
今日はどうしたんだにゃ？
特に用はないんだ。少し話がしたくなってな。
すごい。自動的に答えてくれるんですね。
What I asked Maho to make was a simple program that detected words and phrases in a conversation and replied with set patterns. You could call it an artificial non-intelligence.
オカリンさんと私のボット、名付けてサリエリよ。
Thanks to the famous movie, Salieri was known as a lesser man with an inferiority complex, but in reality, he was a very talented composer. It felt a bit rude to the real Salieri to give his name to something like this, but there wasn't time to worry about that now.
アマデウスを起動すると、俺たちのボットが自動で返事をしてくれるようになっている。
つまり、相手に今喋っているのは岡部さんだって思わせるということですか？
そういうことだ。
Which meant Amadeus would think I was where they were. I would have liked to have had more terminals, but since Amadeus needed the cell phone to be registered with the systems, there wasn't many I could use. All I had were my phone and Maho's, but for a short time period, it would be enough. Of course, Maho's phone had her own version of Salieri. And then there was the message I sent to Mocha's Rhine. The plan was for her to spread information indicating that Maho and I had Kurisu's laptop and hard drive. Even if they were doing the memory experiments, they still wouldn't want someone else getting their hands on them. Sooner or later, they'd picked up on that information and come after me with everything they had. Amadeus was in their hands. If Amadeus' location data told them I was there, they would come looking. But we wouldn't be there at all. And then they'd get a call from someplace completely different and head there. The plan was to keep them occupied with that, and keep their eyes off the server hacking.
以上が今回の任務となる。
Everyone nodded.
くれぐれも言っておくが、アマデウスとの長時間の接触は厳禁だ。それからアマデウスを切った後はすぐにその場を移動すること。何かあったらすぐに連絡をよこすこと。これだけは絶対に守ってくれ。わかったな。
私はどうすればいいのかな。
Kagari raised her hand hesitantly.
君は連中に顔も知られている。ここから動かない方がいい。
でも私だって何か役に立ちたいよ。ママやみんなが頑張ってる中で一人何もできないでいるなんて、そんなの嫌だよ。
Well, this was a problem.
お願い、ホカリンさん。私にも手伝わせて。
I think this is going to be a bad idea because they're going to see Kagari in the location and then they're going to kidnap Kagari. It's bad of me to say this, but I don't think sending Kagari out would be a good idea. I understood how she felt, but I still couldn't put her in danger.
すまないが。
かがりちゃん。マユシーがかがりちゃんの分まで頑張るよ。だからオカリンの言う通りにしてね。
ママ、
わかった。ママがそう言うなら。
That seemed to be good enough for her.
おじさん、かがりには全てが終わるまでどこかに隠れさせておくべきじゃないか。
そうだな。だが、どこに？
If we were going to hide her, it would have to be at Lukiko's house, or Ferris's place.
なんなら僕の隠れ家にでも行く？
隠れ家？お前、そんなもの持ってるのか？
You know it.
バイト用にいくつかあるんよ。そこでよければどうぞ。
よし、決まりだ。かがりもそれでいいか？
わかった。
The issue was that I couldn't leave Kagari alone.
私にも何かやらせてもらえませんか？
Huh?
え？
When did you get here? I turned around and saw that at some point, Yuki had entered the room.
ゆきさん。橋田さんからここの鍵預かっていたので。
She showed us the key in her hand apologetically.
ゆうべ橋田さんに連絡したら、なんだか大変そうだったから、差し入れようと思って持ってきたんだけど。
She put the key away, and then showed us a bag with the logo of a local cake shop on it.
事情はよくわかりませんが、何かできることがあるならと思って。
でもさ、天音氏を巻き込むわけには。
いや、かがりと一緒にいてもらうだけだ。問題ないだろう。
Before, I thought that it was maybe Yuki who attacked the lab. But looking back, that was wrong. If she was the woman in the motorcycle suit, there was no need to do something so elaborate. She could have just used the fact that she was in the same circle as Kagari to invite her somewhere and kidnap her. Wait a second. Couldn't that be what she's doing right now? There was no need to take the risk of attacking the lab.
すまなかった。じゃあ、ゆきさんはかがりと一緒にいてくれ。すべてが終わるまで、ダルの隠れ家に身を潜めてもらうことになる。場所はダルに聞いてくれ。事情は落ち着いたら教える。
わかりました。
But what if this is the elaborate ploy by Yuki to, kidnap Kagari? This could be an elaborate plan. But I don't think that's the case, since she is the future wife of Daru and mother of Suzuha, so I don't think she would, do anything bad, but of course, the game could easily deceive everyone, so I have some suspicions on Yuki, to be honest. I do have some suspicions on her. Yuki nodded. Now, everything was ready. I looked around at everyone in the lab.
じゃあ、みんな、あとは手はず通りに。
待って、おかり。お別れ、言わなくていいの？クリスさんに。
Goodbye. Amadeus was an artificial intelligence. She was an artificial being, not Kurisu herself.
ちゃんと、お別れして。後悔しないように。
Ayuri handed back the phone I had just given her. If he said goodbye, wouldn't they track the location of where he said goodbye from?
そうだな。
I mean, it's a good thing that he could say goodbye to Amadeus, but wouldn't that get their location found out if he does this? Well, let's do it!
悪いがここで少し待っていてくれるか。
Oh, no, they brought him with them for when they're decepting Amadeus. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. That makes sense. I left Mary and Nukuko behind and went to Akihabara Bridge. Oh yeah. The background news report is now translated. Reports of an epidemic outbreak in Japan. I just wanted to point that out. If I made contact with Amadeus, she'd know where I was. That's why I'd chosen this place. This was the first place I let Kurisu see how weak I was, back when everything seemed at its darkest. An advertising van passed by, blaring jaunty opera music at a loud volume that clashed horribly with his flashy paying job. I waited for it to get out of earshot before I tapped the Amadeus icon. That's a lot of description for a random van. She showed herself immediately.
随分と久しぶりね。
そうだな。
私のことなんて忘れたんだと思ってたわ。
I hadn't forgotten. I could never forget.
いろいろあってな。
How many goodbyes had I said now? I'd said goodbye to her again and again, but I'd never gotten used to it.
それで、今日はどうしたの？
君に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
何？またタイムマシンは作れるかって話？冗談。続けて。
もしもだ。もしも自分の命と引き換えに友達の命を救えるとしたら、君ならどうする？
質問の意図がよくわからないんだが。
答えてほしい。
She must have been able to tell from my words and expression that I was serious, because she took on a serious expression as well.
その友達は大切な人なのよね。
ああ。
私にはまだやりたいことがたくさんあるわ。やらなければならないこともある。でもそれでも、もしもその友人や周りの人が幸せになるというのなら、甘んじて受け入れるかもしれない。
Kurisu.
ごめんなさい。実際にそんな目にあったことないし、想像でしかないから確実なことは言えないけど、それでも一人でも私のことを覚えていてくれる人がいるなら、忘れないでいてくれる人がいるなら、とにかく私のことは忘れることは、今日あったこともこれまであったことも、それが私の望みだから。
忘れるものか。
Never.
俺は決して忘れない。
This was a vow. A vow to get me through the long time to come.
岡部さん？
つまらないことを聞いて悪かった。
うん、それは構わないけど、何かあったの？
いや、なんでもないんだ。なんでも。それじゃあまたな。
待って。
え？
なんだか二度と会えなくなりそうな、そんな気がして。
Kurisu.
そんなことはないさ。
Oh, don't lie to her.
そうよね。私
したらなんで急にそんな風に思ったんだろう。
会えるさ、必ず。
He could be lying, but he might also not be lying, actually, if I think about it. Huh. That's right. This wasn't goodbye forever. I'd see her again. So I won't say goodbye. You'll see her again in Steins Gate. Not until I see you again.
また。
またね。
Kurisu. Disconnected. I've got no idea how long it will take. But I'm going to reach you. I promise. I went back to Mary and Lukako and gave them the phone.
お別れは済んだ？
ああ。それじゃあ、頼んだぞ。
I watched them disappear into the crowded station and went back to the lab. That van was still playing its loud music as it drove down the street. That van is so fucking suspicious. Oh, that van cannot be any more suspicious. That van is so freaking suspicious. But that's all I have for this time. Thank you everybody for watching this video of me playing Steins Gate 0. And next time, well, let's see if I'm correct about that van playing a key part in, my suspicions that it's suspicious. That made no sense at all. Hold on, can I do a retake of that line? Next time you'll see that the van...
Okay.